Welcome to Take 5 for Torah, the Monday edition, which is something that happened this week. And today, it's today, the 28th of Iyar. Today is May 20th. And on the 28th of Iyar, so many years ago, Chazal tell us that the prophet Shmuel Hanavi passed away. And so many hundreds of years later, the 28th of Iyar became an important day in the Jewish calendar in 1967 as the day that we commemorate what we call today Yom Yerushalayim. The conquest of Yerushalayim, where the Kotel B'Yodenu, the Kotel is in our hands, Yerushalayim is in our hands. Chav Ches Iyar, the anniversary of the death of Shmuel Hanavi. And what I'd like to do in these few moments is to connect that great Navi with Yerushalayim. In fact, after Moshe Rabbeinu, Chazal teach us, and they have good reason to say so from the Tanakh itself, that Shmuel is our greatest Navi after Moshe. He's juxtaposed to Moshe together with Aaron. Moshe v'Aaron b'kohanav, u'Shmuel b'korei shemo, korim al Hashem v'hu ya'anem. Moshe had an Aaron who was his Kohen Gadol. So Moshe was like the religious leader, Aaron was the spiritual leader, but Shmuel had to serve as both, because in his time, the Kohen Gadol and his two sons were both killed, and the holy place Shiloh was sacked, and Shmuel had to be both religious leader and spiritual leader simultaneously. And even later in Tanakh, Yirmiyahu says, from the hands of God, Im ya'amod Moshe u'Shmuel, ein nafshi ha'am al ha'am hazeh. Even if Moshe and Shmuel would come and pray on their behalf, I wouldn't listen. So Shmuel must be something very special. And Chazal tell us that when David had to realize that Shaul has it out for him and wants to kill him unequivocally, he escaped to join Shmuel at a place called Nayot. And Chazal say that there in Nayot, Shmuel and David made the plans for the Beis HaMikdash, where it would be built, how it would be built, what it would need. Even though David was rebuffed from building the temple, he certainly put in a huge, great effort to prepare it so that Shlomo, David's son, would get a running start in his efforts to build the Beis HaMikdash. We don't see much of this in the text of Shmuel, but we see it significantly in the text of Divrei Hayamim. Divrei Hayamim, in the first book, Divrei Hayamim Aleph, ends with many chapters of David in preparation for the Beis HaMikdash with beautiful prayers that we incorporate into our daily davening in Pesukei de Zimra in the beginning, Ashkenazim right after Baruch She'amar, and also right before Az Yashir, Vayivarach David. And these were prayers that David made in preparation for the conclusion of all the workings of building the Beis HaMikdash. All of this took place between David and Shmuel in that place called Nayot, which is fascinating. David is fleeing for his life. He's a fugitive. The king will destroy any city that David dares receive help from. And in such a time as this, David spends all of his efforts. How can I build this temple that one day I know will be part of this nation? One day I know that I'll fight the battles that will make it possible to build this place. At this time, David was still hoping that he would build the Beis HaMikdash. He wasn't told that he wouldn't do it yet, but he knew that one day it would have to be built, and this is what he did with Shmuel. So Shmuel is the one responsible through Nevuah with teaching us the holiness that Yerushalayim will one day have. Remember, at this time, the city of Yerushalayim was still in the hands of the Yevusi, Jebusites. David did not conquer Yerushalayim until Shmuel Bet, when he became king of all of the tribes. So that Yerushalayim may have already been understood to be a place of justice. The kings of Yerushalayim are named Adoni Tzedek, the beginning of Shoftim, Malki Tzedek in Bereshis. Ramban points out that Yerushalayim was always known as a place of tzedek, place of justice, a place of righteousness. All the more so that Yeshayahu worries that it has become a kiryah, a city of corruption. in his Haftorah of the Shabbos right before Tisha B'Av. Of course, we'll get to that later in the year. But for now, let us rejoice in the Chof Ches Iyar, the Yom Yerushalayim, which is today, on the anniversary, the Yortzeit of Shmuel HaNavi, who was the first to recognize its greatness, its holiness, and together with David prepared for the building of all that holiness.